Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Deuteronomy. We're still in Deuteronomy chapter 5, and today we're looking at verses 12 through 14, which state for us the fourth commandment. The fourth commandment. And it reads this: Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your ox or your donkey, or any of your animals, nor any foreigner who is residing in your towns, so that your male and female servants may rest as you do. So the fourth of the 10 commandments has to do with the day set apart, the Sabbath day, the seventh day. You are to observe this Sabbath. It is a day to be kept holy. Now notice that. The Sabbath day is a day set apart. It is a day to be kept holy. Now in the Bible, holiness has to do with that which is set apart, especially for God, that which is sacred. It is unique. For instance, the tabernacle, or the place of worship, was a sacred space, a holy place, because it was set apart for the worship of God. In our churches, even today, we consider the sanctuary to be a sacred space, holy in the sense that it is set apart for the worship of God. So there are things we won't do in the sanctuary that we'll do in other buildings. Not because the building itself is sacred, but the purpose for which it was made is sacred. It is set apart as a different kind of building, set apart for the worship of God. And so, the Sabbath day is to be set apart as a sacred day. It is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Did you notice that? It is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. So by setting one day apart as a special day, a unique day, a day unto the Lord, it is to remind you who is God and to whom you belong, that you belong to God. Now, God gives some specifics on how you are to keep the Sabbath day, how you are to keep it as holy, how you are to set it apart. You do so by not doing your regular work. 6 days, you work. On the seventh day, it is a day of rest. God says, I don't want you working, or your family, or those in service to your household, or even work your animals. I want you to observe it as a day of rest, to remember that God is God. You see, the day of rest is a day set apart for the Lord. And by resting from your regular routine, your normal activities, your regular work, you have a chance to remind yourself every week in the regular flow of the weekend, every seventh day, you take a day apart, special day, set apart day, to remember that God is God, that the Lord, He is your God. You've set apart a day for Him. Now, of course, all the days belong to God. They do. But by setting one part a day for Him, a day apart for Him, a special day, that reminds you that all belongs to Him. We keep the Sabbath that we may keep every day for the Lord. For the Sabbath day reminds us that He is God and that all days belong to Him. And by having that one day set apart, we are reminded that God is God. So the fourth commandment becomes a very important commandment. Remember the Sabbath. Keep it holy by making it a day of rest and renewal and refreshment in the Lord. The principle still applies today. We are to keep a day for the Lord, and we do on the Lord's Day. Most Christians observe the Lord's Day as their Sabbath, following the principle of the 10 Commandments to set aside a day as a special day. Keep us reminded so that we remember that God is God. Now, I have a little more I want to say about the Sabbath day, but we'll save that for our next session. So join us next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Deuteronomy.